make sure we're back live. Somebody's in the chat can tell me too if it's working. Feel free to do that. Looks like, yeah, it looks like we are back in fact live.
The Orioles just took
Yeah,
R.J.
great.
Austin from Vanderbilt.
Okay. We are about to reach pick 97. It happens a lot faster when we get past the first round. So we're about to reach pick 97 for the Royals. Mike was just telling me that his feelings about the draft overall so far. He says, Mike, would you like to relay to the audience what you were thinking about
Just
the
a,
draft so
yeah,
far?
just a little underwhelmed, and it mostly hinges on that first pick of Sean Gamble. I would have absolutely loved one of the college bats that we were talking about there, and we were talking about Brendan Summerhill and Chase Lavalette mostly. Um, Either one of those, I think, makes a little bit more sense to me because then you're going with a college player that can play center field that you feel comfortable knowing at least a little bit more information about, and then your high upside pick is there at 28 with Josh Hammonds, and I think that's a good balance. Then when you get to 61 and 71, you get a guy who's got really high upside in Lombardi with the fastball combo and the fastball curveball combo, but with not a lot of starting experience, having been a two-way guy in college, playing at Tulane, not necessarily a blue chip program. But then you get a little bit more higher floor with Lampkin, pitching at Texas A&M, being their number one starter, having gone deep in the College World Series, um, having that experience. I think that creates really good balance. Right now, it feels like Sean Gamble is your riskiest pick. He was your first one, and you added that to, yes, a high upside guy in Hammonds, but he's also going to be a little bit risky because he's still a high school guy. And so that's kind of where I am. I'm not mad at it. It's not a bad draft necessarily or anything like that overall so far. It's just that one pick kind of confuses me and makes me a little bit down on the draft so far.
That makes sense. And I think when we, come out of this, the number one point of contention among, media people and fans, things that will be that Sean Gamble pick. Yeah. And so we'll see, though. We'll see. Uh, Picks, we're at pick
Wait.
95 right now. What? Did we notice something? Is something happening?
Oh, no. No, somebody,
Uh,
Drew said, I think Neville and Bauer are going to be expensive. Bauer's a high school
yes.
guy. Mason Neville, I'm pretty sure, is a college guy. Um,
Uh, yes.
yeah,
Mason Neville
he
is a
transferred to
college guy, so
Oregon. He's a
he
college guy.
he
So I
shouldn't
don't
be
imagine
that
he'll be
expensive.
too expensive. Um, Although when you're getting down here, he may want over slot money because it's a little, but he's a junior. He doesn't have a ton of leverage. Um, you may give him a little bit
Gavin
over slot
Turley,
money.
if we're talking about who we like who's available, Mason Neville, he's the 35th overall prospect according to the pipeline, and he's available. Jack Bauer, still available, high school flamethrower. Alec Blair, high school, tall, lanky, a lot of tools, but tough to get away from playing basketball and baseball at Oklahoma. Cameron Appenzeller, still available, high school pitcher. Brock Sell, high school outfielder, some upside there. Gavin Turley, big power bat outfielder from Oregon State, also still available. The Royals are just about to pick. We're at pick 96. They're going to make pick 97. I'd be
I
happy
also
with
like Josiah
Turley.
Hartshorn.
Mike also loves Josiah Hartshorn. I would be happy with Neville. I'd be happy with any of those guys I just mentioned. We'll see where they decide to go with it. Odds are they won't take any of the ones we want. They'll pick someone that they find who's probably pretty obscure, or if history tells us anything, they'll pick a pitcher. I mean, they love pitching in these middle rounds. They've taken a pitcher with the last two picks. Wouldn't shock me if they did it again, and they took hitters with the first two. And so, we'll see what they end up doing. In
Jersey
terms of how
Jayhawk
this,
says, love if the Royals got Bauer. What do you think of Jack Bauer other than the cool, famous name?
that's a great name, and I love that.
He's a
And
cold
it's
weather
always
state guy.
it's always intriguing when you have a player who throws that hard, right? Especially as a prep player. The thing that I tend to worry about with prep players who throw that hard is it's really difficult to hold that, like to keep that velocity for that long, for like a long extended period of time. Two, he's left-handed, which you also love, and that's amazing. What's the command going to look like? Because it doesn't really matter if you throw 105 if there never strikes. And so, are the Royals capable of taking that kind of velocity and teaching him to harness it to throw strikes and that sort of thing. Maybe they are. So I would be excited about the Bauer pick because it is a high upside pick, and I'm all about upside. This is the Major League Baseball draft. Take as much upside as you can get, develop it as best as you can, and if 20% of them hit, you're the Dodgers. Like that's what you're sort of going for here. So yeah, I'd love it. I'd love that pick. We'll see. The pick is in. So if it's Jack Bauer, we're all going to go watch 24 on repeat over and over again.
Just for fun. Just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
See,
a show I've actually never seen, so I don't know.
I haven't really either. Now not the crazy thing, something to be mentioned is there are people who believe that, well, one, Bauer made a big jump in velocity, and that's kind of what they talk about a little bit on his MLB pipeline page is he makes this big jump in velocity, and he then there's always concerns about injury when that happens. So he's a pretty slight guy. He can definitely put
Very
some
slight guy.
muscle on. But they went with Cameron Millar. Cameron Millar, pitcher out of Alhambra High School.
Oh, a high school pitcher.
Mm-hmm. They went with a high school pitcher.
Interesting.
Looks like he's got. Looks like he's had an uptick in velocity as well. He's got 20 inches of inverted or induced vertical break.
That's very impressive.
Yes, that's very good. He's got quality secondary offering in his changeup. There's some concerns about his ability to throw strikes, but it seems to be they're taking another kind of helium guy here who's been thought of a lot better lately with this increase in velocity. Looks like another good athlete off the mound as well, which has been a very big kind of theme for them with the high school pitchers that they take in recent years.
They love the guys who are going to be late risers as high school arms.
Oh yeah,
because
Mazzucato. That was Mazzucato's thing. That
was Mazzucato's thing. That was Hero Wyatt's thing. That was David Shields' thing. Let's see here. I'm getting a look at some video of Mr. Millar. Ooh, I like that breaking ball that he's throwing there.
He looks a little bigger than what I thought he would.
Not a terrible changeup either. Let's see what this looks like. Here we go. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm watching an outing where he just hit 95 on the gun. And so,
yeah,
you like to see that. So to give you a frame of reference, 20 inches of induced vertical break on your fastball is very, very good. It's elite. Anything over 18 is elite. And that's something you would love to see from a guy like him.
Drew makes a good point here. Committed to a very good program in Arizona.
Yeah.
So somebody likes him.
Somebody likes him. I think that's this just makes me wonder about. So Millar gets taken here. Is he one of those guys that I mentioned when we first started this, who is willing to take like $700,000, which is roughly what his slot is worth? Let me just pull up all the slot values. I can tell you exactly what that slot is worth. Is he willing to take that amount of money? Because I don't know that the odds of being able to drastically overpay him and Gamble and Hammonds, I don't know that you're going to be able to overpay all of them. It doesn't seem likely to me, or at least by that much. His slot is going to be worth $788,000. So is he willing to take roughly slot value in order to get right into professional baseball and start playing? Or are the Royals looking at the prospect of overpaying him, Hammonds, and Gamble? That would be a lot of your resources and money tied up in 3 players taken at the top when you have to draft another 6 players after this, right? And so it'll be an interesting question to see how the money shakes out from those 3 prep players who've been taken so far. But the Royals are obviously confident that they can sign all 3 of them, or they wouldn't have drafted them. Looking at Millar's motion, I think what they're getting here is a guy whose velocity is going up. a guy who's got good carry on his fastball. I liked the look of his breaking ball, the one that I just saw. Hopefully they can get him to start throwing strikes more consistently because his command did look pretty wild, especially with that new velocity he's got, which is a thing that happens, right? Like, and so, yeah, we'll see how that ends up turning out. Maybe their scouting department found somebody sort of who was a late riser and who was going to be able to provide more value. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Mike, do you have
I
thoughts on
like
that?
it though. Yeah, as far as guys, prep arms, this is the kind of guy that I like. I understand he's the velocity is newly found, and that's why he's here. But he looks like a pretty decent athlete. He looks a lot bigger than I would have figured he would be. Um, but yeah, he to me he looks like a guy that is going to have some easy action, live in the could improve on the fastball even more, and has the whip in his arm to produce some good breaking stuff. I think this is a very projectable and good pick for a high school prep arm. Like to me, he looks as good as kid from Michigan. We took him in like the second round, high school kid, 18-year-old. Gosh, dang it! You're gonna make me
Last year?
no. 2 years ago.
Oh, Blake Walters?
Yes, has some
He's
Blake
from
Walters
Illinois.
to him, Illinois, whatever. Uh, has some of that to him, but maybe looks like he moves even a little bit better. So, yeah, I think it's a great pick. This is one I definitely like. This is the kind of pitcher that I think has a lot of upside at 97. If you can get him away from college, I think that's a great thing. Especially again, what does he have to lean on here? A fastball that looks like it's going to play in professional baseball.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you haven't been able to say about pitchers in the Royals organization, or that they haven't been able to help develop until maybe Chris Bubich? That's a fastball that can get swing and miss. Right?
I just saw a very wicked changeup from him too, like a very wicked changeup
Yeah, I just saw
from
a
him.
not very
Now,
good breaking ball, but
like they flash. This is
it'll
what
become
happens
more
when you
consistent.
have when you're
Really
a high
good
school
arm side
pitcher.
run on the changeup for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good arm side run. So that was a pretty good changeup. So yeah, and he's throwing his fastball, 93, 94, 95. He's throwing a changeup 81.
Right.
That'll
So you're
play
getting 12 mile
with
per hour
good
difference
movement.
between the two with good movement.
So
So you like to see
this is a
something like
pick that
that.
I'm excited about.
Yeah. I mean, so let's talk about this draft as a whole. We know day one so far. Just to taking a look at it as a whole, how do you feel about what they walk away with?
I don't know. The more I'm watching of this guy, I'm definitely liking that. Does it make up for the Sean Gamble pick? Not in my mind. I've seen some of the hitting stuff from Gamble. Yeah, he looks like he can put a little bit of a charge into a ball. I question the consistency on that. If he plays center field, I think it works out. It has a chance to work out as a much better play on the Gamble pick. Love the Hammonds pick. Really like the Lombardi pick. I think there's some high variance on the Lombardi pick. But you've got some safer guys, I think, in Lampkin. This guy right now is probably the guy that interests me the most, Millar. I wouldn't even look at Millar, but I'm watching this. I've read about him now. I'm looking at this. I'm going, that's an 18-year-old. Like that's some stuff for an 18-year-old, and it looks easy and repeatable. Like he's not a real easy thrower, but he's not a max effort kind of guy every time. That's a guy to get excited about to me.
Yeah. Looking at this draft as a whole, I think it reflects an organization that's looking to find value in every single pick, right? And looking to get upside deeper and deeper into the draft. There are no floor picks here. Not really. I mean, Lampkin, maybe you could say Lampkin is a little bit of a floor pick, but all the others, the four others, they're looking for upside everywhere they can find it. The Lombardi pick is like, it's like they dug through couch cushions to find value. I mean, they were digging deep for this guy, right? Like, great pick there in terms of value. Great in my mind. I've always liked that they've done like finding late risers because I think that's a good way to find value for them. But the Millar pick looks like a good value pick, a late rising high schooler who you can maybe turn into a mid rotation starter or a back end.
Do you remember the cat that pitched for the Marlins? AJ something. He threw like a no hitter in his career, but he walked a bunch of guys. That's what his delivery reminds me of, and I cannot remember his name now.
We know it was AJ something. And then you look at the Hammonds pick is obviously a big upside pick even though the Gamble pick maybe has some issues, there is upside with that pick as well. And so you see Brian Bridges putting his mark on it, saying, we're going to draft players who we think all have a chance to make it to Major League Baseball. There are none of these guys who are going to be like, well, if he hits his ceiling, he'll tap out in AAA. Right? Like, that's a ceiling. Why are we taking that guy?
Yeah. The brain is still working here, people. It's sharp. Okay. His name was AJ Burnett. He threw a no-hitter against the Padres where he walked 9 guys. Okay.
That's who he reminds you of?
The delivery does, yeah. And AJ Burnett was a great, a solid pitcher for a long time.
Career, yeah.
And yeah, had great stuff. He had some command issues his whole career, but that's kind of the delivery that I see there from Millar. Real exciting pick there. I like that one a lot. Is that your best pick? Is that your favorite one, or is it Hammond's?
Of all of them, my favorite one is probably I gave the Hammond's pick the highest grade, but if you're asking me like as a pick, not as a player, I think the Lombardi pick is the best pick. I think because of the fact that he has so much upside and they were able to get him in the second round, to me is like, okay, that is the pick that is probably the best one. But yeah, what about you? You like the Millar pick the most?
Right now, yeah, it's the Millar pick for me. After that, it's probably very closely followed by the Hammond's pick and then the Lombardi pick right after that. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you for a grade for day one overall. So what do you got as a grade for day one overall for the Royals?
Gosh, I got to go B+ just because I still don't love the first pick overall.
I could have picked that one. I think he's going to go with a B+.
Well, I could say B. I got to go B+ because had they done anything, not anything different, but had they done something different with that one, it'd be an A overall. But it kills me that they took that guy. I think there's just too many variables with Gamble to say, hey, even like Hammond's to me is a more reliable prospect right now than Gamble, and you took him 5 picks later, that I don't understand a whole lot, but overall, outside of that pick, very solid. I'm very happy with what they did. Like Hammond's, like Lombardi, really like Millar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Gamble pick screams too cute by half, honestly. Yeah. Like overthinking, but I gave it a B+ as well, and it's just because of the Gamble pick. Not that, and I don't want people to hear that and think, oh, you guys think Gamble's going to suck or something like that. No, I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that Gamble has no talent. I don't think that, he's never going to make it. There's a decent chance that he makes it, or at least as decent as any high school player getting drafted is. And so there is talent in there. There is upside in there. But
I just think there's too many things that have to go right for him to be.
Yeah. There's a lot that has to go right.
Yeah.
And there were other guys on there who needed fewer things to go right. Right. And so that's where my brain is on that pick. Love the Hammond's pick. Love the Lombardi pick. Really, I like the Lampkins pick. I'm not as high on it as some are. And then I think the Millar pick is a very good pick as well. And so overall, B+, but I think that they're very happy with what they've come away with. These are 5 guys. I mean, in my estimation, Gamble and Hammonds and I think Lombardi, at the very least, those 3 should be in the Royals top 30 immediately. Right? And it wouldn't surprise me if one of Lampkin or Millar might also be in there immediately. Maybe Lampkin, because I think he'll probably breeze through the low minors. But yeah, that if you can say that's the kind of impact you had on your farm system after one day of the draft, you want to say that. That's like a good thing to say. So the farm system is already in much better shape after we've been doing this for quite a while. 4 hours and 40 minutes since the first round started. That's all we're going to have for you. Mike, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I was just going to say the thing that kind of excites me is thinking, oh man, it's going to be, you had David Shields and Kyle DeGroat last year. Throw Millar on top of that. You're talking about 3 guys who I'm excited about every one of them for those 2 classes. So we'll see what they do tomorrow.
Think about this in terms of pitching development. So you have those 3 guys. You have Kyle DeGroat, David Shields, and now Millar. And then on the sort of college track that will be just ahead of them in terms of development, you have Drew Beam, you have what's his name, Lombardi, and you have Lampkin now. And so there's like a nice little wall of pitching prospects coming towards the major leagues. And so it is a pretty exciting thing. And, people are going to talk about the Royals farm system, and they're going to be pretty down on it because they always are. But I think that fans can be a little bit optimistic about where the system is, at least in terms of pitching development.
Yeah, I want to see what they do bats wise tomorrow, because you can find some interesting bats still, out there. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. That's all we're going to have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you did live. Thank you so much for the people who joined us live. We love the comments. We love the comments section. We had a lot of fun interacting with you. If you're hearing this tomorrow or sometime later this week, thank you for listening on whatever app you listen on. We'll be back again next week to talk more about the rest of the draft and other Royals related things. Until then, be good to each other.
And go Royals.